Is it? It has started?
It's starting. Hello, is that crooked? Do you think that's crooked?
I don't know. I can't tell. I didn't look at it.
Ugh. I don't think so. If it is, we'll just chalk it up to being
Very well.
It's not nerve-wracking at all.
What?
Doing this. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Intimate Knowing Podcast.
First episode of
hopefully many.
At least two. There's going to be at least two.
Yeah. So I think most of you at this point know us, but I'm Autumn.
John,
yeah. And we wanted to start this first episode by giving you guys a little bit of background to our story, if you're not super familiar with it, and just kind of give some credence to the whole fact that we are in fact married. How we got here.
Also part of this, not only our story, but the reason why Autumn was so
Excited.
eager.
Yeah.
Eager
is fair.
Is excited better?
I don't know.
To join this podcast and do this podcast and explore this podcast idea with not only me but with also whoever wants to watch.
So yeah, I was very excited to start this podcast because I think if you've watched my intro video, it kind of sums it up well. But we have been married for 15 years. We've been together for 17 years almost. Well, actually, almost 17 years, very close to 17 years of being together, and then a little bit more of this year, and then we'll be married for 15 years. Sorry, we are recording this late.
I'm sorry.
So he might be yawning.
I know, I'm going to try not to.
But yeah, and in our marriage, we have had people, we've been a part of many different communities, and we've had many people kind of
enjoy our relationship.
Yeah.
Is that the right word?
Yeah, I know.
I don't know if it's enjoy, like they are
intrigued.
I think they're pleasantly surprised on how we treat each other. I think it's more of that.
Dynamic, yeah.
I don't know what the words are exactly, but they're like, I like how you guys interact with each other.
And we don't really like have a direct answer for that, like the magic sauce. We have some ideas of what works for us, and that's kind of what we want to dig into. I'm an external processor. He is a lecturer by nature, and so I figured this is a good platform for us to be able to kind of dive into that. We've been a part of classes and groups and everything, but we feel like a podcast or a space where we just have a little bit more time to kind of expand and then explore even ourselves about why it is that our marriage is the way that it is. It might be beneficial to others and even to us to better have clarity on why it is that we are able to have the dynamic that we do.
That is true. We do often have conversations about who we are and then what we want from our future. And I think that does kind of build that out without even thinking about it. But ever since the podcast idea came to me in a dream, you mentioned it, is basically I started trying to think more critically about different aspects of our relationship and what that looks like. We've even had a couple like 2 a.m. talks, which I wasn't ready for. And then just kind of, it's opening up even more communication channels in our relationship, just the idea of a podcast. And I'm like, oh, it works well for us, but now I have to figure out why, so I don't let anybody down. And I don't feel like it's going to be like that per se, but I also don't want to like be like, oh, if you do this in your marriage, then you'll have a great marriage.
Right. This is not a how-to video.
Right. Well, yeah, it's also not I think it's all good. I think it's going to be really good ideas. You just gotta have to make it your own. I think it definitely works for our personality types, how we engage with each other. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think it does. Yeah, definitely not a how-to video. We're not trying to be like, this is the end-all be-all. And we also want this to feel like a discussion that you guys are a part of.
That is true.
We want it to be less formal. So if you listen to podcasts, they might feel very polished, have kind of a script, kind of go a certain way. We don't really have that. We just are kind of exploring this together with you. We want your guys' feedback and input, like, oh, we want to hear more about this, or how do you deal with that? That's why I've been pushing recently, like, ask us questions, like what are sort of some of the things. But I also think you need a little bit of background about us, because not everybody has the full story of who we are and how we got here. So we want to provide that.
I think partially at this point,
Mm-hmm.
there's a good over 50% that do know our story
Mm-hmm.
and who we are.
Mm-hmm.
But even of those 50%, they don't really see a lot of the behind the screen.
Mm-hmm.
And I hope that we can kind of be a little vulnerable in those situations of like, yeah, I definitely failed as a husband on certain topics.
Mm-hmm.
And how do we deal with that?
Yeah.
I failed as a dad in a few spots. How do we deal with that?
Mm-hmm.
There was a couple things that I thought were totally fine, and then it turned out, oh, I can't do that. That's something that is only for single people. Like, not like getting together with anybody, but
Right.
like just like
certain behaviors, certain
choices,
yeah.
Especially being in a new relationship. When we first started out, I was like, hey, can I go do this? Like, sure.
You can go to a movie with that girl.
Yeah.
I'm not at all comfortable with that.
That is okay. Okay, that does sound worse when you say it like that. We'll sneak that story in as in a bigger
maybe relationship boundaries.
Yeah, like relation.
It'd be a good topic.
In a few weeks, we're gonna do boundaries in relationships.
Yeah. Class
podcast. I know we've done so many classes together.
Yeah.
I just want to keep saying class when it's really.
It might be that.
It just feels very classroom-esque.
Yeah.
Because I don't know, because I'm like, hey, this experience helped me. It might help you.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Yeah.
But anyways.
Okay.
Boundaries.
Yeah.
And so, I forgot what I was saying.
I don't know. Do you feel like that's a good point to, like, the introductory of why we want to do this? Are you ready to jump into our story, and then we can kind of follow up with a little bit more in depth?
Yeah, I think that's a good
point for that. Okay. So, now we're going to give you guys a little bit of our story, which
who we are.
Yeah. So hopefully you get a little bit of an idea of, who we are, our story, how we got here.
I think we'll start probably a week before we met.
Are we?
Well, yeah, there's things that were happening.
Okay.
People were moving. Like moving around.
Yeah.
People are doing things.
They were moving a lot earlier than a week before we met. Sorry, go ahead.
I was in Oregon on a snowboard trip.
Yes, you were.
I just got back from a deployment.
Mm-hmm.
And you were?
I was on spring break, and my mom had decided to help me go visit my brother in Philadelphia. So I was hopping on a flight to do that.
So that was the beginning
Yes.
of our story.
Yes.
Not the beginning of the end.
Yeah.
The beginning of the beginning.
Yeah. Yes. And so, we met on a plane, and that story is a 2-hour story all on its own.
I think it's only a solid 15 minutes. We could probably knock it out right now.
So hard.
We could
Any
probably
of you
knock
who
it out.
have heard this story know how long it is. And then we have to tell it together, and we have to have space and time to do it. It's high expectations, okay? It's a great story.
I think you put the expectation on
No,
it.
do you remember we had somebody at church come up to us like, hey, I want to hear the story of how
That
you
is
guys
true.
met.
That is true.
And then I tried to do it without you, and they were like, well, that was underwhelming. So so we definitely have to do it together with time and space.
So I was on a snowboard trip. I never had that trip before.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
My buddy and his wife were like, hey, we can drive down to San Diego together. I was like, I already bought a plane ticket. I'm not trying to be the third wheel.
Mm-hmm.
I get on the plane. Very, very boring. Then I have a layover in Sacramento.
Mm-hmm. Where I was getting on the plane. I was getting on the plane in Sacramento.
So I deboard.
I had a layover in San Diego, and then was continuing on to Philadelphia.
So I deboarded, and we were both getting on the same plane, but it's
Yes.
a different plane.
Yes.
So my layover, I get off.
Yes.
I see you in line.
Yeah.
I'm like, and then I follow you like a stalker. Is that right?
I don't know.
No.
Which is wild.
No, it's not fully like that.
I was
but
not cute that trip.
I thought you were.
Very sweet. Did not have my makeup done. Did not have my hair done. I was in
So
my least favorite jeans, and girls, you know what I mean. The ones that like fit, but like you are not your cutest in them, and like
and
a bright
turquoise jacket.
turquoise ski jacket.
Yeah, dude.
It was not.
It was the business.
It was not the move.
It was the move. So I sat right next to her, and then we got to talking for like an hour and a half or so, a little less.
Yeah. Yeah, there was a seat change in there. We're gonna have to come back to this.
That's pretty much the whole story.
So
How long was that?
that's even just the flight. All the things that happened after the flight. There was a Vegas trip. There was drama. There was a breakup. There was the whole thing. So that is a story for another time. But we met on a plane. Okay, we liked enough.
It was Southwest.
We liked each other enough. It was Southwest. You get to pick your own seats. One day we're gonna tell that story.
I thought we were skipping.
I know, but one day we're gonna tell that story, and Southwest is going to market on you can pick your own seats. That is the story.
I don't even think they do that anymore.
They're gonna. We're gonna do it. We're gonna get free flights with Southwest
We're bringing
as soon
it
as
back.
they know this story. Anyways, okay, so we met on an airplane. We liked each other enough that we kept in contact. And then we're gonna skip ahead a little bit, past all the drama. He shows up at my graduation, and nobody was expecting to see him there.
True.
He was not the face that had been in my life up until that point.
Right.
Romantically.
Then you go to college.
Yes. And then I'm taking classes. I have a part-time job as a nanny, which was fantastic.
I was in the military at this point.
Yeah. And we would see each other as often as we could.
Once a month.
Yeah.
Once
he was
every other
in
weekend.
San Diego. I was up near Sacramento. So it was like an 8-hour drive to see each other. So
True.
we sometimes would meet in the middle.
I would also lie. I would say, I know you.
We're just pulling it all out. Here's the transparency part, you guys. Okay.
No. It sounds worse when I say I'm a liar. No, but I would say, hey, let's leave at 4 o'clock.
Oh yeah, you would.
But then I would say, hey, let's leave at 6. Whatever time, let's leave at the same time so we get close to 50%.
He would leave 2 hours early. He was
I would
so
leave.
excited.
I would leave 2 or 3 hours early, so you wouldn't have to drive as much.
Gentlemen, see, these are the things to look out for, ladies. Is when he lies to you, so that he can get to you sooner. This is for good purpose. Anyways, so we were 1 year long
Little
distance,
liar.
driving to see each other as often as we could, meeting family, kind of
that's
mixed
true.
in there. I met his family. He met my family. That was another story.
I met your mom. I was gonna say moms, but it makes it sound different. But 2 individual household moms.
Yes.
And then
The Lord blessed me with a lot of moms and a lot of different households.
true, your sisters,
Yes.
your brother,
Yes. My dad.
your dad.
Yeah, that was a story.
That's a great story
That's
too.
a great story. Yeah.
Which is yeah.
Okay. So yeah.
But I am glad before he passed away I did get to see him.
Yeah, me
So
too.
that was.
And he liked you.
He did.
He thought you were besties with my brother. He was ready.
He was.
He was ready to give you his number and have you guys ride off into the sunset as male besties.
We were.
And you actually are.
And you know what? We kind of are. Is he cooler than me? Obviously, he's way cooler.
Way cooler.
But
yeah. But yeah. Yeah.
But I think he thinks I'm okay, so that's right.
That's a perk. So yeah, we met each other's families. A year into our relationship,
that's my family. But that's your family.
Oh yeah, no, and then I met his family. 10 brothers and sisters.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Something
It was an adventure meeting your family and going to San Diego for the first time from I lived in Lodi, which is like a teeny tiny
my favorite
small town.
I still joke about it every time if we pass a Target at all. So here's how it went down. We're driving and
we're driving back from the airport.
We're on the freeway
to his house.
Yeah.
Yes. So it was the first time I've been in San Diego.
First time you've been in San Diego. We drive. We see a Target off the freeway, and she's like, "Oh, cool." And then we drive some more, and maybe another 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Or so. There's another Target, and she's like, "Dude, you guys got 2 Targets here?"
If that doesn't make me sound like the biggest country bumpkin.
I still say it. Whenever we pass a Target, I'm like, there's 2 Targets in this town.
True. It's
So
relationship
funny.
lore at this point.
I say it every time. It's not even funny anymore, but I love it.
It still gets me to glare at you, which I think is your
Yeah,
favorite.
that is my favorite.
Yeah, so that was an adventure. Meeting his family was like a whole thing. He had an elusive brother that I did not believe existed for a time, because some of his family was in San Diego, some of them was in Washington. So I got
should we
to
name
meet
drop? I mean, I don't
both.
know.
I don't know either. Let's not just yet till we
Well,
decide.
I almost want to name drop that one specifically.
Okay, just so they don't think that it's somebody it's not.
No.
Oh.
No. It's just like he's so elusive. Like they may not even be able to find him.
Yeah, that's true. Go for it.
James, right?
Yeah, it was James. He's like, I have a brother James. I'm like, I've never seen him.
This is
never
years.
seen a picture of him.
Also, this is years in.
Yeah, this was probably after we were married and had a kid.
And I mentioned James. You're like, who's that? I was like, oh, my brother. Like,
I don't think I legitimately met him until after we had Asher.
yeah.
Yeah.
And that was at the apartments at my mom's place
Yeah.
in Washington, because he was visiting at the time.
Yeah, that was wild.
So funny.
Yeah, so I met his family.
I got
Eventually
stories.
met all
We
of
got
them.
stories.
We have so many stories. That's the other thing is like he specifically fantastic storyteller, which is another reason why I feel like a podcast would be a good idea. And I'm just along for the ride.
You know what it is? She just likes hearing me talk.
Maybe.
And she's like, I love hearing you talk so much. I bet other people want to hear you talk.
I don't, but it's not that I think that. It's that I know that. People have told me that. Maybe they don't tell you.
Maybe they're
I'm
liars.
telling you.
Maybe they're liars.
Maybe. We don't hang out with a lot of liars, but...
We hang out with some.
Don't we all? Okay, so we met each other's families. We were long distance for a year, seeing each other as often as we could, and then, big event drop, he had a deployment coming up, which we hadn't been through a deployment yet.
True. I think even slightly before that, I proposed. Is that right?
No. Oh my goodness.
Hold on. I'm trying to figure it out.
This is the first deployment.
Oh, you're right. No, yeah, you're right. You're right.
We are not there yet, but yes.
I've had multiple deployments in my defense.
He has had multiple, and they're all around very big life events.
They are.
Yeah. We're not there yet.
Can I sneak peek it?
No, we're gonna get there. We're telling the literal story. Relax. So he was getting ready to go on a deployment, and I call her my second mom affectionately. She came into my life later, very much soul ties. If you all are into that.
We have a picture of her in my living room.
I'm talking about Mama too. She's right there.
Oh, that one.
Yeah, but I'm not gonna show the picture because this is a lot
For
of
some reason I thought you were
pages
talking about my mom.
No, not yet.
Oh.
I don't know.
Because I feel like you had a small soul tie with her as well.
Oh, obviously. Yes, but that's not part of this particular moment in the story.
That's on me. My bad. I'm so excited.
I know. So, she had mentioned to me, she said, hey girl, you're only really looking happy and alive and glowing when you are about to go see this man of yours. So I really think that in preparation for this deployment, you should go be in San Diego and see if this is really what you think it is and this is what you want for the rest of your life.
You know what it was? I thought we were further ahead because I was so excited.
I know. You get excited.
That actually makes sense. Now that you're saying that, like, oh yeah.
Yeah, very much a thing.
I remember that.
And then
Mama too, I love that movie.
I do. I love her too. And so I was like, I literally, that never even crossed my mind that I was allowed to do that. And then like the secondary, like double whammy was I was at my sister's wedding and I was explaining this very tentative, new, exciting plan to my grandparents who are also like my second parents. And I was like, yeah, so I think I'm going to go visit him and like just stay there for like a month or two before he deploys. And they were like, yes, thank you. Go do that. Go be out in the world. Like, that sounds like such a fantastic idea, which was so not the response that I was expecting. I don't know why. But I was like, oh, that was like complete affirmation. I was like, I'm going. So I get everything ready. It's like, it's right before summer. So we'll say it's like June-ish, right? I'm getting everything ready for the next year. I'm like, okay, I'm putting my job on hold for a couple of months. I'm going ahead and registering for all of my classes here in Lodi. So when I come back in September, everything's
UC
waiting
Davis?
for me. No, I never went to UC Davis.
What was it? Which
one? It was
one?
Delta.
Yeah.
And so I got everything ready, and then I was like getting ready to leave, and I was like, okay guys, I'm gonna be gone for a couple months, and they're like, girl, you're never coming back. And I was like, excuse me? I think if anybody knew if I wasn't coming back, it would be me.
I think partially there is a story with UC Davis. I don't know if
No, we're not there yet.
We're not allowed to share it, right?
I think we could share it at some point, maybe. I don't know. I did have early acceptance to the pre-med program at UC Davis. Not to toot my own horn, but I was very excited about that prospect. But then the Lord decided he had different plans. He's like, I know you're really excited and you want to be a doctor, but actually I'm going to give you a husband. And I was like, well, all right then. It's not the worst thing that's ever happened to me. I'll be honest.
There's more stories with your medical career as well.
Yeah, there's so much. Okay, so
I got
keep an eye on time here.
I got excited. I'm so sorry.
That's okay. So he was getting ready to deploy. I was ready to go visit and come back. Everybody said, girl, no, you're not. I go the first day that we were looking for an apartment for me to stay while I'm there for 2 months. We're just looking for like a very short-term rental situation.
You signed a 1-year lease that day.
I signed a 1-year lease that day, and I went, looks like everybody was correct. I better make some phone calls and cancel some things.
I do remember that.
Yeah, that was hilarious. I think we came back and told your parents too.
Yeah, they were like, yeah, surprise.
We know.
It was funny because we were looking for like a month-to-month thing, and we're like, hey, we need a month-to-month. And then, I don't remember, it was like 5 something.
Yeah, we were looking for like the price.
Yeah.
Our budget was $500.
Yeah,
which is really hard to find. He has delusions about rent prices. He has the entire time that I've known him. So
and I'll keep it. I'll keep that forever.
So he thought
until
he was
I
gonna
die.
have all these options with this $500 price budget, and then he found out that 1, there's very few, if any, options, and 2, the options that you do have are in a crazy ladies' pool house, which is where I signed my year lease, and then later got evicted during finals week for literally no fault of my own.
Well, that's a whole story. Let's not get into.
I know that we have a lot of stories. Okay, so
I keep saying that, but you're getting too much details. We're here.
Sorry.
It's okay. I love you. You're excited too. I could tell.
Yeah, I like talking about you. It's whatever.
I mean,
so he deploys.
I do.
I live at the crazy lady's house
for a while.
And then I move. Can I say?
Please.
Then I move into his parents' house. Very gracious of them to welcome me into their home. At one. Okay. I was gonna say at one point one of your sisters was like, "Girl, that sounds so awkward living with your boyfriend's parents." I was like, "No, I love them. It wasn't that bad. They're fantastic."
And honestly, they loved you too because you were open, you were communicative, and
I tried to do my chores.
Yeah.
I tried to obey the rules.
Yeah, you're a rule follower.
And they appreciated that.
And they loved that. And when you were out with some friends and it was a little late, you always called and said, "Hey, I'm gonna be home at this time." Mm-hmm. And my dad is always at the gate, waiting to open it right at the time you said, and open it. He does.
He wouldn't. Sometimes he would, but usually he was like, "Make sure you lock the gate when you get home."
Right.
Like,
yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
But
well, either way, but he was still like ready for you, and he would keep the gate exactly, the way you needed it.
Yeah, but I think that was like a really sweet season because it really gave your parents like insight into who I was as a person.
I think so
and
too.
Kind of supported the next chapter because as I was going about life, now doing my new job in San Diego, going to school in San Diego, waiting for him to get home from deployment, he was off on deployment doing what again?
I was a firefighter.
Oh yes.
In the military.
Yeah, you were. That wasn't quite my question.
What is your question? What am I doing?
Yeah, like you were studying for marriage, right?
Oh, that, yeah.
This is a marriage podcast. Not a firefighting podcast.
I know. Sorry. You're like, I thought you were like, what is your job? That's on me. So I did love you, and I still do. I loved you at the time, and I was like, how do I show my love to this person? Mm-hmm. What is marriage? Mm-hmm. What's it for? Mm-hmm. How long is it supposed to be for? And obviously you're like, marriage is forever. Mm-hmm. I believe that. My parents were never married. They had a few kids. When I say a few, I think it was 4. Mm. And they were never married. Mm-hmm. But then when my dad did marry, it was forever. Mm-hmm. Death to you part. Mm-hmm. There was some struggles in there, but most of all, they loved each other. Mm-hmm. And even during the hard times, they stuck it out. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, that's hard. So how do you make it less hard? Mm-hmm. So I went through the only marriage book that I knew of at the time, mm-hmm. The Bible, mm-hmm. and they had I'm not good at books, but they had the glossary, right?
Yeah.
And I would look up words, whether they were marriage or wife or husband.
I think index, because it would point you to where.
Yeah, you're right. And so I would look up these terms, and then every verse associated with them,
Mm-hmm.
I would kind of like
Do a study on
those
Mm-hmm.
things and figure out, what do I need to do to take care of you,
Mm-hmm.
and what are my responsibilities
Mm-hmm.
in like marriage
Mm-hmm.
to make it last for as long as I can,
Right.
forever, I
Yeah.
hope, right?
Yeah.
And so that's kind of how I did that.
Mm-hmm. Can I add something
Sure,
really quick?
please.
So as he was doing that, just kind of from the other side of the ocean,
Right.
when I was with his parents, I also was getting a very similar opportunity, but I feel like I was getting it in real time because I had a similar, not an exact situation. My parents were married, but it was not necessarily a happy marriage from the time that I can remember, and they did wind up getting divorced when I was about 10. So I didn't really have a lot of up close interaction with happy, healthy marriages and what that looked like. But living with his parents, I really got to see what that lifelong commitment looked like when
Yeah.
both people have like agreed to that, and then also see, what I saw was the healthiest example that I could, which was like a Christian marriage, and what the responsibilities of a Christian wife look like playing out in real time on the daily, and like not just viewing it but also having conversations with his mom at that time about like what sort of things I need to be thinking about and how I can consider my husband and things like that. So that really gave me an idea.
I feel like a lot of the stuff was not only stuff that she does, but it was like practical advice.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't like, make sure you fold this clothes like this and you do this and you do
Well,
this.
even that would have been practical, but like I feel like
No, I mean,
like
no.
philosophical.
Yeah,
like,
philosophical.
Make sure you consider your husband. Like, okay, but what does that mean?
Yeah,
How
yeah,
do I
yeah.
do that on a daily basis?
Especially when he's yelling at you or being difficult that day.
Right.
And I think she did that really well.
Yeah, I think so too.
Anybody that knows my father, he's great.
Mm-hmm.
Also, he's very particular.
Mm-hmm.
So sometimes he can be a little rough,
Mm-hmm.
but pretty big heart.
Mm-hmm.
He would give anything to his family, or even just a random girl that his son is dating.
One time, actually, when in that season, I ran out of gas on the freeway.
Oh yeah,
I
he was so mad at
dork.
first.
And I was pulled off on the side of the freeway, and he showed up with a gas tank. He was not rude to me at all. He was so understanding and so sweet.
I thought he was upset at first, and then he's like, "I'll be there."
He might have been. I think it wasn't upset. I think it was just like rolling your eyes,
Yeah.
like what a young girl thing to do on the freeway. Are you even safe?
Yeah,
I think it was like more stress than
yeah.
anything.
Yeah.
But yeah, he was definitely my hero. Showed up that day and helped me. So yeah, that is an example of who he is.
Yeah, and I think each of them have their own, like, how they represent. My mom always used to be like, "Oh, look how fruity you are,"
Yeah.
because the fruit of the spirit,
Mm-hmm.
and what he did and what he does for his family,
Mm-hmm.
and then what she did and what she still does for our family,
Right.
even though she has passed away since.
Mm-hmm. The legacy she left.
Exactly.
Yeah, for sure. So yeah, that's kind of what was happening during deployment. Is he was doing that, and I didn't know this. I don't think, or maybe you did mention it because you were always very transparent. I think we were always very transparent with each other. Like when you said the thing about like marriage is once and forever, you said that very early on in our relationship. We actually, before I think we even really started officially dating, you were like, "These are my expectations of a relationship."
I did, and if we can go backwards a little bit,
Mm-hmm.
even I think partially in our first few conversations, I don't know if it was our first date or not, but definitely
early phone conversation.
Definitely early. I mentioned to you like, "Hey, I don't like arguing. I don't want to argue. I don't want to fight.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to yell at me, then this isn't going to work out."
Mm-hmm.
I basically just tried to set a boundary that was important to me.
Right.
And you were like, "I don't like that either."
Coincidence.
No.
I also want to avoid yelling at each other.
And I think most people would say, "Yeah, I don't want to be yelled at either."
Right.
And I think that's important. But at the same time, it's like,
how do you?
But I've seen it so much in my life.
Mm-hmm.
What does that look like?
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of my studying and relationship was aimed to or geared towards like, hey, how do I communicate this without yelling at you?
Mm-hmm.
How do I communicate that I need this without you yelling at me?
Mm-hmm.
And I really think that's where my heart was, because that was like the most important thing is I don't want to fight with the person I love most.
And I think individually and in our relationship together, we have really curated behaviors like for ourselves and in our communication styles that have allowed us
Now, we have argued since, and we have gotten loud, but I still think at the core, we're not yelling at each other. We're not screaming at each other.
No.
And when we're passive aggressive, which happens sometimes, the kids are like, why are we fighting? And I'm like, this isn't fighting. This is me irritated. That's not the same thing. And they're like, this is out of control.
Yeah, praise the
like,
Lord.
And that is such an amazing feeling when passive aggressive is like the worst thing in the house at the time, in that moment.
Right.
And I'm like, okay, I can deal with it.
Yeah.
You know. Anyway, so back to where we were.
Yes. So that was deployment. He was preparing for marriage. I was also preparing for marriage, although I don't know that I really knew that. And then he comes home from deployment. Yay, happy joy. I was very excited. And then, surprisingly also, side note, like every deployment, you came home on March 18th. Do you know that?
No, I didn't know that.
Yeah, you did. Which is hilarious because that was the day that we met. And every year on March 18th, I feel like the Lord gives us a different gift. We've had all sorts of things happen on March 18th. That was when you officially became an electrician. You joined the union, was March 18th.
No, it wasn't.
I promise you.
I think it was February.
No, it wasn't. That was when you started boot camp. That's when you started work. But when you actually got all the way into the union, that whole like ceremony was on March 18th. Yeah. So very special day to us. That's why we're spending it with you guys.
So you never brought this up.
I whatever, yes I have.
I don't listen.
So he gets home, we're all very excited, and then I do not know this, but he is working behind the scenes, has been working behind the scenes to start initiating engagement proposal.
That is true. So your dad was alive at the time, but he was unattainable. Excuse me.
You're excused.
He was unattainable. So what I ended up doing, you can have water too.
Thank you.
Is I talked to your grandpa. Now, I have a theory on marriage that if you ask the father or like the person like, hey, I would like to marry your daughter, I would like to marry your granddaughter, if you have no significant other but maybe you have an older brother, like maybe you know, saying it like this maybe feels a little misogynistic, but that's not, I don't think that's the core of it.
Yeah.
The core of it is showing respect to the family to say, hey, I want to support and love and care for an important part of your family.
And I think it's asking like, hey, do you see me as worthy of that?
I think so too. That's kind of where I'm going from it, and that's what I at the time was going for. Looking back, I know some people are like have that like. Now I don't think it's required to ask the family.
Right.
If you
it's not a permission thing.
It's not a permission, and if you ask your spouse, you're like, hey, will you marry me? And they're like, yes. Then that's it. But I also feel like if you do go and speak to their family and say, hey, can I marry your daughter, your granddaughter? And they say, no. I think that's an important question. Then you can say why. And then going from there really determines like, so I was ready for him to say no. And then I would say something like why. Then we would build that out and figure out, okay, what do I need to do to be worthy of like entering your family and caring for her. And so
I think
he said yes right away.
Right.
We can build that out more about what I feel about.
I was just gonna say, it almost feels like just a higher level of accountability. Like, because the girl in this situation, I think, like, we've all heard this story, seen it play out, unfortunately, where, like, you kind of just get love struck and you're not necessarily seeing the full context.
You can't see the red flags.
Yeah, you can't see the red flags. And so by asking a significant member of the family who you know loves and sees not only that girl, but then the relationship that you two have, and we were very present in all of our families' lives. Like, everybody had a chance, I think, to see us interact and know who we were and ask questions and all that. You're just kind of opening the floor for, hey, on the outside looking in, does it look like this is a relationship worthy of marriage? Does it look like I am worthy of her hand? Does it look like I am, supporting in the way that you would want and expect somebody to support this person that you love?
Yeah.
And if the answer is no, like, what can I change to make sure that you feel comfortable?
Mm-hmm.
Not because, again, it's a permission thing, but just because you have a greater, like
Purview.
a different perspective, and like,
Yeah.
like you just are a step back from the situation, and you might have a better perspective.
Yeah. And then so I made sure I bought no rings. I had no material for you.
Mm-hmm.
I asked him, and he said, "Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
that's great. Finally,
Mm-hmm.
bud,
Mm-hmm.
make an honest woman out of her." I was like, "Well, sorry, sir," And so then at that point, then I started building out.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, marriage. It's a yes.
Mm-hmm.
Now I just gotta trick you into saying yes, and now I'm in.
Okay, can we talk about that though?
I'm just kidding.
Oh, okay. So yeah, he got the green light. He went ahead.
I bought the ring.
Yes.
That's a funny story.
That is another funny story.
And I sent it to a friend's house because I didn't want you to see it.
Yeah.
Because my friend Beck.
Mm-hmm.
Then you were staying at my parents' house, so
Yeah.
I didn't want
You couldn't
my
send
parent-
it to your parents.
Yeah, I didn't want my parents to see it. I didn't want you to see it.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted nobody to know except me.
It's a secret.
It's a secret.
And my granddad. But yes.
Yeah, he's okay.
Yeah. Okay, so
That's a whole story in itself.
it is in itself. But I do want to give a little snippet
Please.
of the night before you
I love
actually
it.
did propose.
I didn't. The night before I proposed.
Yes.
I see.
Yes.
I thought you said like the night before I got the ring I proposed.
No.
I don't know.
No. Okay. So the night before.
Hey, run it back. It does sound like
It's
that.
a great story. So I'm not gonna give the whole thing, but just because he just mentioned what he said, like I don't even know what you said, but it totally jogged my memory. But it was, he had the ring. He'd asked my granddad. He was all ready. He had this whole plan in his mind. Okay. And it's the night before. I have no idea that it is the night
It's
before.
finals week too, yeah?
It's finals week.
So
Stuff is
funny.
going on, and we're.
I always try to mess her up. If she's having finals week, I'm gonna try to wreck that.
Yeah, that's. Yeah.
Keep her down. No, I'm just joking. I'm just joking. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
And so, yeah, we're just like chilling, and I'm like, he just kind of unprompted. Well, first of all, you went through my computer randomly, and you did find examples of rings that I was
Because we were sitting
looking
down
at.
together.
Yeah.
And as I was scrolling your pictures, I seen rings.
Yes.
And I was like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, busted.
We had talked briefly about marriage. The fact
Yeah.
that, like, I think his exact words at one point, maybe a few months into dating, was, hey, if things keep going in this direction,
Yeah.
I definitely think the amort is in the future, because you
Yeah.
don't want to say marriage.
So cute.
So, I mean, I knew that it was eventually going to happen. So he's looking, he sees the rings, and he goes, oh, okay, these are what you like? Okay. Unbeknownst to me, he literally had a ring somewhere in that house that looked exactly like the ones that I had looked at. He had never seen these pictures.
So you know what it was too? It
What?
was even funnier than that. If you remember, there was multiple pictures of different rings.
Mm-hmm.
And you're like, oh, I like this style, but I also like this style,
Yeah.
but I also like this style.
I like
But
this style, but I like the 3-stone. And I like the mill grain on this one, but I like,
So it was basically all of her favorite rings in one.
Yeah.
I don't know, you can see it here, but it's you can't see it from the camera, but it's basically 3 stones, fun design on the outside.
It's very
little,
antique looking.
with
I got
little
a compliment
diamonds on
on it yesterday for the first time ever.
With little
I never
diamonds
get
on the
compliments
edges.
on a ring. But yeah, it's gorgeous. I love it. It is everything that I wanted.
I got it. Now, I don't know if it's the internet, my screen must have been big. I was like, dude, this thing's ginormous. I love it. I get it in the mail.
And it looks so little.
Well, can you take it off?
Yes.
In the mail, you have the box. So all you can really see, it's diamonds, it's nice, it's whatever. I'm like, oh, she's gonna hate it.
It's so tiny.
It's so small.
Not to mention, after he did propose, we're getting off topic, but after he did propose, we did go to show like his coworkers and stuff, and they were like, "Do not show my wife that ring. That thing is massive." So
that's
very
a story.
much his own
That's
insecurity.
another story.
But okay, so the
yeah,
night
it
before,
is because on the internet, I've been looking at it this big.
It is.
So I thought it was like gonna be like a wristwatch.
Yeah,
it wasn't.
Anyways, yes. Okay, so
I'm so sorry.
No, it's okay. I want to go down so many rabbit trails. It's crazy. So he looks at them all. He's all, interesting. Then, like, a little bit later in the night, he's like, so I just want you to know, like, I know you're excited and everything, but I do want, like, I think it's important that we kind of set the timeline. And, like, I know you're about to start, like, you know, really going hard in school. And I just think it's important to wait till after you're done with college. And, like, you know, it'll be great. And this is just really what I think is best. And, like, I was like, oh, okay, you know.
Crushed.
Yeah, I was just like, that's okay. Like, I can wait that amount of time. I'm okay with that. I'll be okay with that, right? I also made an offhand comment, too, because we were talking on the topic of rings, I think, in marriage.
I'm sweating a little.
Yeah, I know.
Like I'm in trouble. We eventually did get married.
We did get married. But I talked about how when I was younger, me and my best friend, Mandy.
Oh,
Mandy,
yeah. We love Amanda Panda.
We do love her. And we were talking about how cute and this was in like probably 8th grade or 9th grade. We were talking about how cute we thought it would be if
and
a
I
boy...
think this is classic 8th grade talk.
Of course. How cute it would be if a boy got like a ring out of a 25-cent machine
because
and proposed with that.
It's only about the love. Who
is.
cares about the ring?
And so I mentioned that to him and he was like, oh, cool. So I only got to spend 25 cents on your ring. And I was crushed. I was like, yeah, but I was in like 8th grade when I said that. I want the ring to be nice. Like, he really messed with my head that night. Okay, so I was in a place, okay? I was processing. I was like trying to be okay with this new timeline and with a 25-cent ring.
And she's also in the middle of finals, so she had studying to do.
I did. Yeah, so.
There's a whole story I'd like to pause.
We're going to pause.
The next step.
Okay, yes.
We're engaged.
We are engaged. So just so you know, time-wise,
yes,
we are now at just about 40 minutes.
Okay.
So I think that this is a great place to kind of put a pause.
Okay.
We're engaged now. Not a whole lot happens before marriage because we had a 6-month engagement. I did most of the planning. There's some fun stories in there, but I don't think they're super relevant.
I think the wedding night is a great story.
Oh yeah.
And I.
Not for the reasons you may be thinking. Certainly not the ones you're thinking.
I will say. No, I won't.
Okay. So we will resume the story at another point. What we really want to do before we wrap up.
I think we can start off with, hey, we just got engaged.
Yes.
And then basically marriage. So we can talk about our marriage process and how we got what I thought was important for the marriage.
Okay.
Trying to keep it kind of low budget and
You want to go into that now? Or
no. The next time. That's where we'll start.
Yeah.
And then I think we can lead into the rest of it.
Mm-hmm. Everything that happened since the beginning of marriage.
Yeah. But that's kind of the background of who we are.
Yeah.
And I know you talked about originally about what we're trying to get out of the podcast or what we want anybody listening to get out of the podcast.
Yeah.
Can you talk about that again really quick?
Yes. So one of the biggest things that I have seen in the many different arenas that I have lived life up to this point is that there's very little, I feel like, communal learning in our culture. And I really started to notice this when I was a doula and a childbirth educator and a lactation counselor, that there are just certain life skills and life experiences that I think used to come much more naturally, not because we had more inherent knowledge, but because we lived more in community. So like you would be at your sister's birth, the birth of your niece or your nephew. You would be in your aunt's house as she was breastfeeding your cousin. You would be among other communities, at dinners and things where you get to see marriages happening in real time. You get to kind of observe and sort of weigh the different behaviors that you're seeing and kind of decide for yourself which behaviors you want to adapt and which ones you don't. And I really think that we live in such an individualistic society and culture that you really don't have a lot of opportunities to see marriages in real time. Now, obviously, this, like a podcast platform or a discussion platform, isn't quite that, but it was the closest that I could think of where there's just like time. And that's also why, if you've noticed, we've been mostly talking to each other because this is just who we are. We don't want to do a lot of editing. We don't want to make it really flashy or polished. We want this to sound like a conversation because this is truly just us talking. And our hope is that through us talking, you can sort of glean some of those behaviors. And of course we will also like verbalize them, articulate them, but we also want you to see in real time how we talk to each other, how we communicate our thought processes, perspectives, things like that, so that hopefully some of that communal learning can happen here. And maybe a podcast is not the greatest platform for that. Maybe lives will be a better, or having other couples and us having discussions that way might be better. I don't know yet, we're brand new at this, but I do think conversation and discussion in raw forms is going to be helpful, or my hope and prayer is to someone.
True. Not only that, I'm hoping to become a better husband through this as well. I can already tell you off of this podcast and even our classes that we do sometimes, is I get excited. I talk over you a little bit. I'm like, oh yeah, there's this point that I was gonna say. I also forget very quickly about, like, once I'm telling a story, I'm like halfway through, I'm like, what am I talking about?
Where are we going?
Where am I going with this? So I do often do that. So I'm hoping to be a little more on track and to give you the room to speak without being interrupted. These are some of the things that I'm working on, especially in this type of environment.
Just so you know, I don't feel talked over. I feel like if I do have something I want to add, I can ask for a moment and you gladly give the floor. So
yeah, I get excited.
I know, I like the excitement. I think that makes it more organic and fun and interesting to listen to.
So all in all, I don't think we're the best at marriage, but I think that we have a good one. I don't struggle with loving you. I don't struggle with caring for you. I don't struggle at being your husband. I struggle sometimes at being a good dad, and that's
parenting's hard.
Parenting's difficult.
This is definitely not a parenting podcast. To be clear. Although,
if we can just communicate with each other well, we can at least be on the same side as we parent, and trying to get the best out of whatever that looks like.
Right.
So like.
Yeah, I do think we'll have an episode probably on marriage in parenting, not necessarily the focus of like, this is how you should parent your kids, but more like, this is how we stay on each other's team while doing a very difficult job of parenting. We're doing the difficult job of parenting. Yeah, I think that's worthy of talking about.
This goes out to all people that are in relationships, that are not in relationships, that are parents, that are single, that are non-parents, and for any, like, we have the biggest amount of care for anyone in a relationship, and the biggest amount of care for those that unfortunately either have a bad relationship or that don't have one at all.
Yeah.
We know the struggle that we have, especially parenting together. It must be so hard to not being able to like have that person like help you.
Yeah.
So the hope is that when and if you meet someone, you can try to take some of these tips and tricks to help you have a more bountiful relationship. And if you're already married, that this kind of boosts up each other's like respect for each other, and I think
or
and
even grace, absolutely. But also just like maybe things that you haven't even thought about. Like, man, we always have friction in this area, and I really don't understand why. And maybe some of the conversations we have and the questions that we'll ask or that come up that you guys ask as we kind of go over them together. And two, we want to invite other couples as well. So this is not like, again, not a how-to, but just a discussion, an open discussion. And we want to invite people with blended families, and we want to invite people maybe who even are like single parents, and like what that experience is like, and like what, you know, co-parenting looks like, and all of those things. Again, not a parenting podcast either, but just we want to give as many perspectives as we can, and we want this to be as helpful and a supportive community as we can. Our goal is really for this to be a community that you guys are a part of and engaged with, and that benefits you.
Go to the website.
Yes.
Submit questions. We'd love to do shorts on those questions, or even do full podcasts.
Yeah.
If it's a question that we can expand on, I would love to do that. There's been a handful of questions already. They've been really good. You've asked me, and it's like, dude, I never thought about that.
We do have a short coming out too on intimate knowing and where we got the name. and that sort of thing. But yeah, so
We're excited.
We're really excited.
Do we have an outro?
I don't think so, not yet. I was just gonna say, we hope that this conversation was interesting to you. We hope that the format is appealing to you. If you do have questions, yes, please go to intimateknowing.com and you can ask those questions there. We also have all our links to all our different socials. If you found this conversation valuable at all, we would love it if you could, subscribe, share with somebody who you think might also get value from
Or
it.
you can click this video here.
I don't know how to do that yet. We're learning, so we're all here. We're learning together. I've never had.
You're gonna have to put something here.
Yeah, maybe I'll link that article. I don't know. We'll figure something out. So yeah, thank you guys so much for being here. We really, really appreciate you taking the time to listen to us. And like I said, I hope that this benefits you. And we're just excited to go on this journey together. So we'll see you again next time.
Thank you.
Bye.